morning, and you're listening to Faces for Radio with James Evans,
Miles Poole,
and Alex Stratton Lake.
We've got a fantastic show lined up for you tonight, guys. It's a Bond special.
Woo!
Hey! You're not allowed to use that soundboard when I'm here. Apologies, we weren't here last week, but we're going to make up for it so much this week with our fantastic Bond special. Hey! Brilliant. And quite fittingly, because the last show played Skyfall last, and it was our plan to play that first, we're going to start with Ed Sheeran. So here it is.
Give me love, oh, give me love.
That was Ed Sheeran, Give Me Love.
Good song, good song.
It's all right.
Yeah, but like I said, it is a James Bond special show.
That's
so
James Bondy.
Perhaps Ed Sheeran's a massive James Bond fan, and that's what
that
inspired us to play the song.
James Bond gives a lot of love.
Heard it on the grapevine. I've heard it on the
love everywhere he
grapevine.
goes.
Ed Sheeran's going to be doing the next big Bond theme.
You've just made that up, haven't you?
I have just made that up. It would be absolutely ridiculous.
But then I suppose that's how rumours start, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone gets a microphone who shouldn't have one and says something ridiculous, and there you go.
Yeah. But then again, Adele's doing this one, which says something about the direction in which...
I like Adele. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There has to be someone.
What have we got? We've got loads of Bond features, haven't we?
Yeah. We've got the standards. Would I tell the truth to you? Would you rather? All that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's go. Let's get straight into it. Let's go with the would I tell the truth to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I mean, we're going to introduce this feature with the jingle.
Oh yeah, of course. Absolutely. The jingle is.
The jingle.
Miles, don't just laugh incredulously. This is the highlight of the show. It's the jingles. All right.
Yeah.
Let's start it off.
Would
No.
Oh
Cut.
my God,
Cut.
this
Cut.
is a
I
nightmare.
know I can't cut. We're live, but okay, listeners, pretend you didn't hear that.
Yeah.
would I
Tell the truth to you. Beautiful. You've still got it.
Definitely.
You've both still got something. Right.
So this week, James and Alec have got a couple of stories
To tell.
for your ears.
Yep. So me and
I'll-
James are going to tell stories. One of them's true. One of them's false.
I'll ask some questions. You can ask questions if you like. We'll give you the number in a minute. Should we give them it now?
Well, give him the number now.
Yeah.
Give him the number now.
075 071 87777 or email studio@radio.warwick.ac.uk with questions or who you think it is, but you don't know the questions yet. Never mind. Let's go into it.
Miles, you're rambling.
Well, beforehand, the prize this week is, well, we don't have one.
We
So
haven't really decided.
Well, we have possessions which all could be prizes.
Yeah.
And listeners, you get to decide what you want as the prize.
Yeah.
And if we think it's practical, we may consider giving it to you.
yeah.
The beginning of university, my first year, you go into a new environment. No one knows anyone. You're there to make an impression, I suppose. And I thought the best way of making friends, making a good first impression, was to introduce myself in a James Bond-esque manner.
Right.
So people, obviously ask my name, and I'd go, Lake. Alex Stratton Lake. And I'd give him a cheeky, wink,
A cheeky wink.
Like a cheeky wink,
Brilliant.
you see what I just did there?
Yeah.
You see what I just did there?
Nice,
And
nice.
sometimes follow that up, with other key quotes, like if I was at the student bar and someone gave me a lager,
No.
I'd go, like that, shaken, not stirred.
Why would you have a lager shaken?
They give me a confused look, and then I would follow it up with, I'm Lake. Alex Stratton.
Sorry,
all.
just someone at the bar
wow.
you turn to and go, by the way, I'm Lake.
Just so they understand my reputation and wouldn't question that I wanted a lager shaken, not stirred.
Brilliant.
Right.
So yeah, that's
Okay.
my story.
Okay. James?
My tale is one of tragedy. I was about 12, 13 years old. I'd just seen GoldenEye, I think, and went running into my garden pretending to be James Bond. Jumped over a space hopper. Remember those? 90s?
Yeah.
And sort of bounced off it at an awkward angle and broke my wrist rather badly.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It was unpleasant. And that's my tale of woe.
That's your tale of woe. Right. Alec, did
Yes.
did your method of introducing yourself win people over?
Strangely, and I know this may come as a shock, it didn't. And I had an
No.
overwhelmingly negative reaction from most people for at least a few. It took a while to undamage my reputation, I suppose.
Did it win you any ladies? I mean, Bond's no stranger to the ladies. Did his charm lend itself to you particularly well?
I'm sure that my mannerisms gave me a lot of possibilities, but I didn't want to indulge in them.
Oh, okay.
So-
You took the high road. You took the high road. Yeah.
It probably doesn't help that your name just keeps going. When you're saying it, it's just like, oh, there's another bit.
Yeah, I suppose so. It would have been worse if because I've got 2 middle names as well. So it would have been worse if I'd used my whole name and go, I'm Lake. Alec Robert James Stratton Lake. I think that would have been a lot worse, I suppose.
You should have done it.
I'd like my drink shaken, not mixed or stirred or...
Yeah, just listed any other possibility. No, it wouldn't be very snappy, I suppose.
No.
Wow. How long did this go on for?
It did take me a while to realise that this really wasn't working. Because I've always been taught that persistence, is a virtue. You've got to keep at things
Practice
to make
makes
them work.
perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. James.
Yep.
I'm
Oh,
baffled by...
Right, good question, Miles. Well, it all started.
while Miles thinks of questions, can I express my bafflement at the fact
go
that
on.
your athletic ability is evidently so minimal that you couldn't even surmount a space hopper.
Well,
It's an awkward shape. It's spherical. How many spherical objects do you have to jump over in everyday life?
Well, you didn't have to jump over anything. You just chose to. And
Well, I sort of did in my mind. As James Bond. Give him the text number and the email.
I did have another question. I've forgotten it now. I'll come back to it.
Let the listeners
075 075 071 87777 or studio@radio.warwick.ac.uk with your questions or your answers or your prizes or whatever. A song?
Anything.
I think we need to go to a song so Miles can have some time to realise he's actually supposed to speak on this show and,
It's supposed to make sense.
make some sense.
I'm trying.
But we got a good song. We got a good song queued up, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got Paul
Big
McCartney.
Bond theme.
Live and Let Die.
When you were young and your heart was an open book.
That was Paul McCartney, Live and Let Die. It's all right?
It's good. It's good. Love it. Love
That
it.
was Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Well, the Beatles
One of the
guy.
Beatles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know things? Do you know James?
Do I know things? Nope.
This is a Bond special. You don't know that Paul McCartney did a Bond theme?
I haven't seen very many Bond films.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to
for
admit.
God's
really?
sake. This is...
This reminds me, James thinks the new ones are better.
Well, they are.
Then
Daniel Craig is the best James Bond of all time.
no.
And I say that
yes.
with
No.
very little knowledge of the other films.
Okay.
We'll move on from this topic.
Yeah, okay, this is it. Right.
Right.
We got text in, Miles?
I don't know. Should have looked. Should have looked during the last song.
during the break. but
We haven't actually.
we haven't.
Sadly, I'm sure the computer's messed up or something. Probably people are trying to text in, get their opinions heard.
I know what's
Just the computer
I know what's
broken.
happened. Someone's ringing the
Oh
line.
yeah, that's
Because we didn't
that's the
say
trouble,
text in, did we? We
Yeah, I know.
just said the
Yeah.
number.
So remember, listeners,
Hang
I'm
up-
sure
hang
you're
up now
out
with-
there.
Yeah. If you're on the
Don't
now,
phone a telephone number. Text in.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got someone on the line now.
Do you?
Let's
Yeah,
move
Flagship
on to
feature.
the flagship feature, which is
Would you?
what?
Would you rather?
Oh yeah, no, sorry.
Really? For God's sake.
This is like the 100th time.
Is going on, guys? You're not on the ball today.
It's just that the jingle for Would You Rather and Would I Tell the Truth to You features are so very, very similar. I get
They're
confused.
not similar at all.
At this rate, I'm going to bring back Cooking Corner, and I don't care what anyone has to say about it. Come on,
Right.
Miles.
Would you?
Would you
Would you
rather?
Right.
Really wasn't worth it, but anyway.
Second time's a charm.
We're moving away from the negativity. Here we go. Would you rather this week? Would you rather have a license to kill or a license to drive?
See you, mate.
Moving away from the
This
negativity
is
again.
dismal.
Go.
I'd rather have a license to drive because I don't want to kill anyone. What a ridiculous question. Next.
Quite impressive that James Bond manages to provide like, you know, puns in a cool manner once he's just murdered a human being.
You say impressive, I say psychopathic. Really?
I think he's just a witty guy, to be honest. He's making it up on the spot. He should do stand-up.
There's a time and place for wit. It's not once you've killed someone. In the real Secret Service, and I know obviously because, you know, I've got insiders and whatnot, they train you in killing a man and they train you on how to deal with the massive rush of adrenaline that goes to your head when it happens. You don't just stand there and go, there's a guy in, is it The World Is Not Enough? Who just flies off of a cliff in skis and James Bond just stands there and goes, see you back at the lodge. What?
That's
What's
hilarious.
wrong with you?
That's maybe
a man
that's his,
has plummeted to his death.
Maybe that's his way of dealing with the trauma.
Well, yeah, that's not a very healthy way of dealing with the trauma, is it?
Sure it is.
Well, perhaps
drinking, laughing at the dead, and sex. I mean, he's just a mess. He's a psychological mess. He needs help in the earlier films. In the later ones, he's more of a realistic character.
No, the early ones, he's more of a realistic character. With the lasers and sharks.
And characters called Pussy Galore.
Just ridiculous.
That makes
just
sense.
ridiculous. Can't say that on the radio. Well,
Yes, you can. You can't now that you've implicated it or whatever
I
the
haven't.
word is.
Anyway,
We've moved away from our would you rather.
there's a man who kills people with a hat. I mean, that's
Brilliant.
what you get in the
That's
old
realistic.
films. That's what you get.
That's realistic. In the new ones, he buys Heineken or whatever it is. No one buys that. That's not realistic.
So you find buying Heineken more unrealistic than a man killing someone else with a bowler hat?
It's
think he
probably a
does.
really sharp hat. The brim, probably really sharp.
Yeah, but
It makes sense.
It doesn't make sense.
And the people that turn the people into gold also makes sense.
Makes no sense.
It all makes sense.
Oh, do you think the reason
He,
that
she
our
is
listeners are not texting and emailing in is because they're just too young to operate a phone or computer? Our only listeners are the ones who have had the radio put on to this frequency by mistake and are unable to physically get out of their cot to change it.
I mean, if they're that young, we
what it
probably
is.
shouldn't be talking about the license to kill, really, should we?
No.
No.
No, well,
We
I would've-
apologise. So which would you have, Alec?
Well, like I said, I mean, I'd rather have the license to kill because you could drive and then just get out of trouble
Fair enough.
by murdering. I suppose I'd have to deal with, you know, the guilt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, just say a funny line and you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You'll be fine.
Does having the license to kill mean I can't ever get a license to drive?
Oh, that's a good point.
Because you could get the license to kill and then just do like a
course.
and
Yeah.
get a driving license.
You're asking if they're mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
I think we're
In this scenario, they are.
yeah. I think you'd have to
I think-
rely on public
Okay. transportation,
transportation, which no one wants to do.
Yeah. Because otherwise it'd be a lot more difficult to get a license to kill. Like most people have a license to drive, but so
What?
I'm just going to go with the one that is, you know,
The one that's more
the
difficult
one that's
to
more
obtain.
difficult to obtain outside
No,
of
what
this
Miles is
hypothetical
trying to
situation.
say is, you know,
Oh, right, yeah,
well,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
my opinion, and
yeah.
you know that
It's good.
and other reasons. Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. I think the license to kill.
Great.
okay, all right.
Should we go to a song?
I think we should go to a song.
Yeah,
Another big Bond hit?
Another big
Yeah.
Bond hit. This is Carly Simon. Nobody does it better.
Then who?
I don't know.
Nobody does it better.
That was Carly Simon. Nobody does it better. What was that from? That was from James Bond, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the idea for all the songs.
Yeah, but
that's
what-
Spy Who Loved Me.
Is that what it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So she says it again and again in the
Is it-
song.
Oh,
The Spy Who Loved Me. That
Oh.
is the person who can't do
Okay.
it better.
I try not to listen to this.
That's sorry, the person that nobody can beat, if you like.
Yeah.
And I think she's talking about you know what. So
Thanks for that, James.
that's my
Interesting.
2 cents, if
Cool.
you will. It's just me, the way I read women, you know. That's
Yeah.
just a little insight.
Yeah.
That was another reason why I was trying to impersonate James Bond
Yeah.
when my first week of university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To read women.
But the
Get
radio
yourself
radio
confused.
audiences can't see that.
Yeah, so they're even more confused.
Miles, hit us with some texts.
We've got some texts.
Well, that,
That's what Alex said.
it would have been really awkward if we hadn't.
It has been really awkward once already.
Right. Alec must be telling the truth. James always struck me as more of a Miss Moneypenny impersonator.
Thanks for that.
From Andrew. That's good.
Have you ever worn a dress?
Yep.
Doesn't Miss Moneypenny
Moving on from that.
doesn't Miss Moneypenny dive onto onto one of those balls in one of the
Sorry, my chair's just collapsed.
Collapse under the weight of your embarrassment.
Sorry, Mark. Sorry, carry on.
I was just saying, in one of the James Bonds, isn't there a scene where Miss Moneypenny just dives onto a thing and breaks her arm?
No, I don't think there is.
Okay, maybe not then.
No.
Maybe not. Must have watched something else. Never mind.
Oh, sorry, are you just confusing James Bond scene with anything else which had a woman who injured herself?
No, what are the bouncy things called?
Space hoppers.
Space hoppers, yeah.
Is there a James Bond with a space hopper? No.
Oh.
Not unless it makes a surprise appearance in Skyfall. I'm going tonight. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
Moving on.
that's answered my question. On a related note, I'd like to point out that GoldenEye came out in 1995 when James was 4.
It was repeated on TV.
That's from Calvin Adams.
So, well, Calvin,
No.
it was repeated. I can assure you.
Not sure it was. It wasn't a very good one.
All right,
Why
well,
would they
maybe
repeat-
it was something else. Does it matter? Does
Yes.
it matter? What's he said? Has he said I'm telling the truth?
He hasn't given an opinion.
Has anyone
Wow.
emailed in to say what they want their prize to be? Or are they quite happy with nothing?
Seems to be happy with nothing so far.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes our lives a lot easier, I suppose.
Yep. They've tuned into this show, so they must be easy to please. I mean,
From Laura, I'd much rather have a driving license. Killing people is not fun. Interesting suggestion. How about a license to drive a tank?
oh yeah, I like that.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Do you want that as your prize?
Would you get in trouble? Yeah, maybe that's...
It would be a real annoyance to park, wouldn't it? Because I think the tanks are probably wider than cars, aren't they?
You would think.
I would suppose.
You would think, wouldn't you? I mean, I'm no expert, but I think you're probably right on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
So tanks, from tanks to gadgets. It's Alex Gadget of the Week. Do you want to do a jingle?
I mean, I was going
This
to,
show
but
has been one of the worst we have ever produced, and yet simultaneously one of the most fun. So,
okay. I mean, we were gonna move into that topic a bit more fluidly, but we haven't, unfortunately. So let's just cause a break. Silence. Ooh.
what?
It's
What's
time.
going on?
What? Oh, you've broken a silence. We're gonna have a little break, and then I was gonna break in with my.
Silence is the greatest sin on radio.
I was gonna break in with my jingle.
Okay, right.
Now it's gonna-
right. 3, 2, 1.
Alex Gadget Show.
Sorry, Alex Gadget Show. How long is this going to go on for?
5 minutes. Not a very popular show. With little substance.
Okay, go.
All right, my idea for a gadget. Actually, this gadget would come in handy now. Actually, is a gadget which would recognise when I'm in awkward situations, and then have the capacity to teleport me a short distance away from said awkward situation. So, say I'm in an embarrassingly bad radio show and it's very dysfunctional. My gadget would be aware of that and then teleport me to a corridor somewhere outside the studio, maybe. Or, you know,
I can see how that would be useful, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can teleport to where you like in the...
It's a short distance.
Yeah,
so I
but
mean,
like in the vicinity.
yeah, in the vicinity. I suppose it would be awkward if you were in like a park and it was an awkward situation and you teleported like 5 meters to the side. That would be
Make
awkward.
it more awkward. if
Yeah, I
anything.
suppose so.
But then I suppose you'd move further out and it would just be a sort of infinite loop until you're out of that area. You'd just be randomly materialising on a large field in different places for a considerable amount of time until people stopped looking at you.
I guess if you got 5 meters away, then you could just run after that. Just run.
Do you often run from awkward situations, Miles?
I run home crying. It's easier.
Well, you wouldn't even need the gadget then, really, would you?
If the door's locked, or if you're in a big crowd.
Or just to give you a head start so someone can't run after you to continue the conversation.
I would suggest any awkward situation where the door's locked is more likely to be a sort of dangerous situation than anything else.
I suppose so. Although, you know, perhaps like a girlfriend symbolically like shuts the door and says, "Okay, we need a chat,"
and locks it.
And maybe locks it. Depends how stable your girlfriend is, I suppose.
Have
you ever been locked into a room?
I've never been locked into a room to talk about.
You're not allowed out until we sort this out.
The door has been shut, but I've never been locked in. That's just slightly menacing.
Swallowed the key.
Well, either way, my gadget would help you get out of that situation.
Yeah.
But then that would just involve more awkwardness later down the line, surely.
I suppose so.
Just why would you limit the power of teleportation to awkward situations? I mean, what would be the scientific, ethical, commercial grounding for that?
Because people find themselves in awkward situations all the time.
People want to go places all the time.
Yeah, but then you'd be missing out on the journey.
Not everyone wants a journey. I don't want the journey into campus most days. I just want to get straight here. Get on with the learning. Get on with the enriching of minds.
I've got a few more texts.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want some more texts?
Oh, yeah, go on.
Right. From Poppy. James is right. The current Bond is the best.
Thank you, Poppy. Sexy Daniel Craig.
Disagree.
What?
James, you can't follow up sexy Daniel Craig with an admittance that you've worn dresses before.
I didn't follow... What? No.
Well, I mean, you have said
up
that...
the admittance with the fact that I find Daniel Craig sexy.
Okay. Okay.
In a completely heterosexual way. I should put that on record, just from the way Alec looked at me there. And just thought, is this something new? Is this...
Still from Poppy. Also, maybe Alec is lying. And, well, you have one listener, but I'm switching you off now to go for a run. Sorry.
Well,
so now we have 0 listeners.
Well, actually, Poppy, we also have Calvin and Andrew. So there.
And Laura.
So
we've got loads. Literally loads.
In fact, we had too many, so it was a good thing that she left.
We're in the ones.
Yeah.
People say we're in
single digits.
I've heard a joke on a radio show on here before where someone goes, well, we've got tens of listeners. Well, we haven't got tens of listeners. That would be incredible for us. Tens of listeners would be phenomenal.
That's what we inspired.
Yeah, we've got ones of listeners.
And a second text from Calvin. That response, I think James is telling the truth.
Oh.
That's an interesting one. Alec always comes across as too smooth a character.
Is that a bad thing or a good thing?
I think a good thing.
That's a good thing.
It means you're not
smooth, not sleazy.
And a suggestion of the prize. How about a drawing from Miles as the prize? Okay.
Because you are
a
bidding artist, aren't you?
Am I?
Aren't you, Miles?
I'll try.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you've had some of your cartoons published in a newspaper.
Yeah.
You?
That was through a connection he has, though. I'm a bit of a big name in the bore, so
big name on campus.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. Just getting
Alex got a big name on campus. His name just keeps on going. He's got a massive name.
I see what you did there.
Brilliant. I'm bringing out a clothing line.
Are you?
Huh? Anyway. What else have we got, Miles? We got more texts?
So that's the... No. That's the first suggestion. If the suggestion for a tank driving licence isn't a suggestion for a prize, then that first one, that one with the draw... I know what I'm saying. That is the first suggestion of a prize. So I think we've got at least one prize on the list.
Okay, excellent. Do you want to win a drawing by Miles Poole, budding artist?
Oh, Miles, could you do a portrait of the person who's won the prize?
That's a bit much, isn't it?
Probably not.
That's
no.
a bit much.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean,
if anyone wanted that, you can't have it.
Sorry, I couldn't.
oh dear.
Right,
What
we've got.
what have we got? We've got your news, haven't we?
We've got the news now.
We've got the news.
Yeah.
Time for the news.
Oh, that was the wrong sound. This is off.
Go on, Miles.
Right. Good evening, this is Miles Poole with today's top stories. As I'm sure you've heard, the Beckett Reading Room Committee held its 8th annual show recently, but this year's show was a show like no other. This year's show had a record number of entries. One member of the huge crowd said the atmosphere in the room all day was of great excitement, especially among the many children who took part and attended the day. Congratulations to Miss Logan for her champion tomatoes and to Miss Jenkinson for her prize-winning Victoria sponge and drop scones. I'm sure we'll see much more of them in the coming months. Secondly, a harpist called Eleanor Turner is performing in Harbour on Sunday. She's apparently internationally acclaimed, but I've never heard of her. The organisers say the show will be a spectacle not to be missed, but they would say that, wouldn't they? If you've heard of her, it might be alright. No offence, but it's not my cup of tea. Finally, speaking of world records, a group of 29 pupils from Royal Alexandra and Albert School in Reigate has sadly fallen just short of a world record of their own. The record was set last September in Berlin, but it still stands as the pupils fell just a fraction short of breaking it last week. One teacher commented, "It was a brilliant effort by all the pupils who took part. They could not believe it when they were told they fell just short of the record. Obviously, they were a little gutted." Tune in next time for another FFR newscast. Thanks for listening.
You've turned into quite a cynical news reporter, haven't you? You know.
No?
Well, saying
Just telling
that.
her how it is.
These are just the facts, mate. He's laying them down.
These are the facts. I'm telling you them straight. No twists.
Top news from. Are you blowing your nose?
No.
Okay.
Why would I do that on the radio?
Well, I'm telling the listeners now that you were.
Thank you. I've got a cold.
Probably be more pleasing than listening to us talk.
What? Just hearing Miles blow his nose. Miles, would you mind
Shall I do it
blowing your
again?
nose on the radio? Could you be a bit?
We've got like 10 minutes left. I can do it.
I can blow my nose.
I've got a big one in me.
If this is a feature. I mean,
Oh god.
should we get back to Bond?
No.
I'm going to see Skyfall tonight. That's going to be. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The theme tune.
Yeah. Do you want to?
Shall we listen to it? Shall we listen to the theme tune?
Let's have a little listen.
This is Skyfall, sadly by Adele.
Well, not sadly.
That was Skyfall by Adele.
Good
Right.
song.
Not as bad as I was expecting. to be honest. It
What have you
sounded-
got? What have you got against Adele?
Just she's always whining about why people don't love her.
That's
Adele, I love you.
That song just sounded like all the others, to be honest.
Do you mean all the others?
All the other James Bond songs. They
Well,
all merge into one
They
in my
don't.
mind.
They don't.
They
They're
do.
quite
little bit.
dissimilar. A lot of them are very different.
Live and Let Die is probably the only one that's different because it's sung by a man.
Fantastic song. Fantastic song.
Well, what, all the rest sung by women?
I don't know.
You're just making
God's
lot
sake,
of them
you don't know
are.
any.
A lot of
You're
them
just
are.
making
arbitrary generalisations, aren't you?
Is just
Most of
awful.
them.
Just awful. We're going to wrap up now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, our winner of our competition.
Our winner of our competition is Calvin Adams.
Congratulations.
The answer was James. James did stupidly break his arm.
Broke my,
Didn't
wrist,
you?
I broke my wrist.
Yeah.
Jumping over a space opera, pretending to be James Bond. Yes.
Yeah. You'll be glad to know that Alec didn't do that.
Didn't. No, he didn't do that. Nor did he.
No.
Nor did I
Introduce
introduce
himself.
myself in a
He
James
didn't
Bond-esque
do the
manner.
James Bond thing.
No.
Right.
What have we got to say? Wrapping up.
Calvin, you win the drawing that I've
Yep.
now got to do. Thanks.
Covered that. We've got like us on Facebook.
Yeah.
Find us on YouTube. Faces
Thank-
Radio Warwick. Type it in.
We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yep. It's been fun. It's
Yeah.
been fun.
Thanks
We
for
might
listening.
be on at a different time next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Schedule's been shifted around, so we
Yeah,
might be on.
so
we'll,
probably-
we'll let you know on Facebook if you.
Move us to a
So-
less popular slot
Yeah.
because we don't bring in the listeners at all.
Not like
Uh,
we used to.
No. Oh, those were the days when we had
The
6 or
wonder
7
years.
listeners.
James, we are award winners.
Yep.
That
we
is
are.
true.
Yep.
So
Show
let's
of the
not
week.
show of the week.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Do you think there was just a power outage and we were actually the only show which
that
was
went
broadcast?
quite possible.
Yeah.
Quite possible.
That's probably more likely than our show was actually all right.
Mm.
Yeah.
We got a final song, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got rudimental, not giving in. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
I'm James Evans.
Miles Poole.
Alex Stratton Lake.
Well, it's time to start the show.